This is Politics on Sunday, the program where we interrogate the issues shaping Nigeria's political landscape and engage the voices driving the national conversation. Tonight, my guest is a politician whose voice on matters of national importance is often difficult to ignore. Senator Henry Seriake Dickson, former governor of Bayelsa State and now the senator representing Bayelsa West. He has built a reputation for speaking firmly and standing by his convictions, even when it places him in the minority. On the floor of the Senate, he was among the few voices who openly spoke in defense of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan during the controversy surrounding her suspension. He has also been vocal in debates over amendments to the Electoral Act and also recently criticized the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State. Until recently, he was a prominent member of the People's Democratic Party. But in a move that has stirred fresh political conversations, Senator Dickson has now aligned with the newly registered Nigeria Democratic Congress. So what does this political shift mean for the opposition landscape? And can a relatively new party gain traction at a time when defections are rapidly reshaping Nigeria's political space? Let's discuss all of that and more with Senator Henry Seriake Dickson. I am Femi Akonde, and this is Politics on Sunday. Welcome. Distinguished Senator Dickson, welcome to Politics on Sunday, and it's good to see you again, sir.
Thank you, Femi. Nice to see you, and thank you for the work you guys are doing in TVC.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
well, when we invited you for this program, you put out a tweet announcing that you have accepted the invitation to appear on this program to discuss your political move to the Nigeria Democratic Congress. There were a lot of comments. I saw one particular comment. Somebody said, let him stop wasting his time. Go to either APC or the ADC. How do you respond to that?
Well, first of all, that's you just picked on only one.
Yeah, one.
There are
a lot of comments.
Thousands of comments. And thousands, majority of them are applauding this move and the fact that we are redefining the opposition landscape and the fact that there's a new direction offered. Yes, there are issues about timing, but it's never too late to make a new day. Okay? So now, if you look at majority of the, we are getting a lot of traction all over the country, and I'm interacting with a lot of leaders, from all major parties, from all states in Nigeria. And people are registering even online, massively doing so across all states. So most people only benefit from power. They don't know how to craft and create the platforms that create power.
But how widespread is this, your consultation? Because, a lot of people are now saying that NDC, it's like they carry us go where we don't know.
They know more where we are taking them to. It is the direction your APC or APC.
My APC.
APC is taking Nigeria to that they don't know, and which is why we're not going there. The fact that you see majority of people going to a direction does not mean that is the right direction. The majority could be wrong. And in this case, they clearly are. And that's why your lives are not better. That's why the country is more divided than it was. That's why there's prevailing pervasive hunger and insecurity. That's why your economy is going down. And that's why the country is more divided. That's why all the education is going down. All indices of national development are going down. The APC is taking Nigeria in a direction, using your words, a direction that they don't know and we don't know. Now, and that's why I'm not there. You talked about the ADC.
The ADC, yeah.
Look, most of us are quiet. So most people don't know our antecedents. I was there at the beginning of the formation of the political parties in this dispensation. 1997, 98. In the very first meetings, and learned under the masters. Sorry a little bit because I have a cracked voice. I've been speaking for the past 1 week.
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, several meetings and so on. Now, so I know how this started. And if you look at a man like me who because of my love for ideological politics. Politics bereft of ideology is empty and it's not attractive to me. Some of us are in this for service, not for appointments, not for contracts, not for positions. Okay? So we look at the ideological content and the clarity of vision and the direction that a party and a leadership are going. And I don't see that in the APC, unfortunately. Okay? The APC has left Nigeria more divided. The APC is built on the fault lines of our country. Okay? Ethnicity and religious bigotry have taken center stage. And I can't associate
under this current administration?
No, it's APC I'm talking about, Femi. It's APC. The late President Buhari took Nigeria from top to bottom. APC. And here, the current president has taken Nigeria behind. Whether you're talking of exchange rate, whether you're talking all indices of development. Okay? So I feel that there is need for a new beginning. You talked about the ADC.
Indeed.
First, I commend the leaders of the ADC. Because you see, you can't have democracy without opposition. My friends and colleagues who used to be in the AD with me, okay? Some of them older people.
Alliance for Democracy.
The Alliance for Democracy, 1998. I was there when they were forming it. Then the People's Consultative Forum. Most of the people who are in fact don't even understand how it came about. The president was part of it, okay? I was a young man following the masters, okay? Right from my own South-South and the Southwest and across the country. MD Yusuf's MDJ, I was part of it, okay? From there to the Alliance for Democracy. So you should know that I'm not an establishment politician. If the establishment is doing what is right, it's got to be supported. If the establishment is not right, it's got to be pointed at. It's got to be challenged, it's got to be opposed. That's why we are in a democracy. And so when you talk of the ADC, I appreciate the work that the leaders of the ADC are doing. And by the way, a number of them are good friends and associates. I have a lot of regard for them as they do for me. But I'm not seeing ideological clarity in the ADC. I believe that any party that I will fully commit to must be clear about certain essential fundamentals. Commitment to a federalist Nigeria. Okay? That was why we were in AD. Commitment to constitutional democracy. Commitment to government priorities, national security. Okay? Devolution of powers. Emphasis in education. Affordable health care. An improvement of the economy. A Pan-Africanist-based ideology in terms of foreign policy. These and many more are issues that I'm very passionate about.
That we hear most political parties say this. We see it in their manifestos.
Well, like the APC manifesto that promised devolution and restructuring and never delivered. They went as far as setting up a committee under John Oyegun's chairmanship of the APC, and I commend him for that. Chaired by El-Rufai. And that committee did a good job. If they had implemented that committee, probably, Femi, I would have been APC. Now, the difference between me and a number of other politicians is that I'm a politician of conviction with commitment to fundamental principles and ideologies that I believe in. I'm not in this for office. I'm not in this for money. I'm not in this for position or for contracts. That is good, and I don't envy those who have that or who make that a priority, but I want to leave Nigeria better when at the end of the day, my political service and life itself is done.
Were you involved in the formation of the NDC? Because people are asking, it was just newly registered in February, and you're talking about its governance, philosophy, and all of that, and you seem to align with all of this and philosophy. Are you part of the founding fathers of the APC?
First of all, the NDC is my baby. It's my baby. I put the NDC together with my friends around the nation. You're not seeing some of them now. In the course of the next week, few weeks from now, by the end of this month, you will see those who are involved in the NDC. A number of my friends, but I've been at the center of it, at the heart of it. And it's not coincidental. I saw the progressive crisis in the PDP that the governors and other leaders created and could not manage or take control. They behaved irresponsibly. In politics, we're about consensus building and solving society's problems by building consensus, by knowing when to give and when to take, and when to walk away from a fight, and actually when to fight. I was involved in a lot of these meetings in the PDP. And by the way, you know, I shared, apart from being an attorney general of my state in the PDP government, appointed by my boss and my leader, President Jonathan, when he was governor, for which I'm grateful. I became a member of the House of Representatives, twice elected. At the time, the only one re-elected in the history of my senator, my rep district. I came to occupy it. I did it twice. Became governor twice on the platform of that party. Until today, I'm the only governor in Bayelsa who has served 8 years completely. Anyone who does so is doing so after me. Okay? And I pray, I broke that jinx to create that stability for it. And that's good. Thereafter, I came to the Senate. This is my second term in the Senate.
Indeed.
So all on the platform of PDP. And why PDP? Because PDP is an inclusive platform. A platform that respects the diversity of our nation. A platform with an umbrella for all, big as well as small, Femi. This country does not exist only for the big and the strong. And I oppose that, and I've opposed it all my adult life. So you see, I'm someone motivated by ideals and values that are bigger than me.
Now that you have left the PDP, it's like an acknowledgement that the party can no longer be salvaged.
No, I still wish the PDP well. It's a very sad thing for me to decide. Even with all this crisis, I kept hoping and praying and working too quietly, because I do things quietly. Like NDC, I was putting it together. Since 2017, we started the application.
Quietly, while still being a member of the PDP. Is that not anti-party?
Because we saw the direction.
But is that not anti-party?
The dilution of the ideals of the party and the desire by some elements to personalize and control the party. You don't do that. A political party is a congregation of several tendencies. It's normal and legitimate to have tendencies in a party. So when I hear people, governors and other leaders, so this one is this one person, this one is, it's rubbish.
But you didn't answer if that's anti-party, you know,
no, it cannot
being
be
in the PDP and working or to build another political party.
I started the formation, starting the application as an association. We just became a political party just about 2 weeks ago. And you talked of traction. Indeed. For a party that collected a certificate of return for less than 2 weeks, and I openly declared for that party just about 5 days, and people are joining it across the country. That is traction. But looking at traction that the APC never had, a traction that the ADC never had.
But is there enough time, looking at the INEC timetable already released, is there enough time for the NDC, you know, to meet all of these deadlines before election?
Well, look. We are used to deadlines.
Or okay? are you going to be on the ballot in 2027?
We are used. Look, every party exists to be on the ballot to capture power. A political party is not an NGO. Okay? It is to capture and win and manage power for the benefit of the people. So I can tell you, and with me, if you know a little bit of my background that I've told you, and the much you don't know, if you ask, you will know. I'm a serious-minded person, okay? Indeed. I'm not into frivolities. We want to change Nigeria through the normal democratic political process, okay? And I want to thank all Nigerians, leaders of Nigeria, Nigerians of all persuasions, who have expressed an intention to identify with this vision. And of course, I've come to mean something, and I'm happy about that. And I promise them that I will continue to remain who I've been, okay? Loyal to the values that we stand for. We've got time. You talked of timing. I shared the Electoral Committee joint session in Lagos, okay? And I'm a ranking member of the opposition on the electoral panel. We made these timelines in good faith. For example, the requirement of electronic digital registration. Yeah. And it's important because, you see, we must increase our game. We cannot be analog at a time that everything we do is digital. And which is, again, why we don't understand the hullabaloo about electronic transmission. People who receive phone calls, make phone calls, electronic transfers here and there in all our communities are raising issues about electronic transmission. But that's not about it. When we made that law, we requested political parties to have a digital register in addition to the manual ones that we are used to. Because we want to modernize the parties. And it was done in good faith. But INEC at that time was not to give only 1 month or so for registration of parties. No, that was not the intention. And it became so, I believe, with the amendments and adjustments of the time frame. That's why I think INEC adjusted it, and it now has created a lot of challenges for all parties, except the ruling party, which, by the way, has been doing electronic registration for a long time. And it's not fair if the APC has been doing digital registration for a long period, months and a year or thereabout, and then you now use this new law that we passed in good faith to help parties upgrade their membership system. You now use it to say, oh, all parties, including a new party like NDC, should do a membership registration within a month or so. That's not fair. But you see, the law does not say how many you should register. So I tell Nigerians, don't worry. INEC has to be reasonable enough to go back and take a second look at it. And I think all political parties agreed on that. Okay, so in the coming days, I think there will be conversations along that line. And we expect Professor Amupito and his team to take a second look at it and tweak it to see how they can adjust. But even if they don't, look, my dear Nigerians, all of you who are desirous of change, don't be deterred. The law does not require that you must register 5,000 members in a ward. So get that.
Right.
Get that, fulfill it, and we move on.
Well, Senator Dixon, you said you went around the country, widely consulted with some of your friends. We have also seen pictures. Some people are saying that, well, this new NDC might just be a placeholder for certain candidates. We've seen your picture with Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso of the New Nigeria People's Party. We also saw your picture with Peter Obi, where you said, you had conversations about the unity of the country and progress and all of that. And people are beginning to speculate that could it also be that, you're kind of preparing a ground or providing a platform for them to come join and probably run on the platform of your party, the NDC.
Well, let me say, my platform will be willing, the NDC, of which I'm the national leader and founder, by the way, will be willing and will be happy to gladly receive these eminent gentlemen you talked about. They were my colleague governors. Indeed. Okay? And we have since developed and kept a brotherly and friendly relations. Most of the pictures you showed now, some relate to the condolence visits to me by them when we lost the deputy governor of my state. Yes, who was a very principled guy, okay? He died and they visited me. All of them visited me. Atiku Abubakar visited me. All of them, Nigerians, a lot of Nigerian leaders. Not many of my APC friends visited me, but a number of the others did, okay? But the NDC platform is available to accommodate and receive as many Nigerians. Voters who are the king, and then politicians who are available to utilize the platform to canvass for vote for a new Nigeria, a better Nigeria and an inclusive Nigeria. Beyond even the gentleman you talked about. And when you say placeholder, no, that is not who I am. If you check my political background, it's just that some of us are quiet. Okay? There are not many Nigerian politicians of my generation and age that have the kind of pedigree that we have, even though we don't flaunt it all the time. So it will be derogatory to allude that I, Henry Seriake Dixon, commander of the Order of the Niger, is doing something as a placeholder for anybody. Okay? I know myself, and I know them, and they know me. We relate as compatriots. Okay? And we agree or disagree, but in the national interest. Yes.
Let's talk about the evolution of political parties in Nigeria. You've been around for a long time. You said 1997 helped in the formation of some of the political parties we have now. Yeah. What went wrong along the line? Where did political parties begin to lose that ideology and philosophy? Because some people say they are all the same now.
No, political parties are not all the same. The Alliance for Democracy was very different.
At that time, I want to know.
Those of us who were in the Alliance for Democracy, from civil society, from activism, in my own case, from the Niger Delta activism, and we gravitated with the NADECO elements and those who opposed military rule, and they were right in doing so. We were ideologically committed to a restructured Nigeria, a democratic Nigeria, a federal Nigeria, a Nigeria that will respect the rule of law, the judiciary, free press, a Nigeria that will prioritize education, a Nigeria that will fight insurgency and insecurity. In short, a better Nigeria. And there were certain things who, for example, the leaders of the AD and PCF, when I was as a young man following them, they formed the APP, pulled out. They formed the the PDP, and pulled out. Why? They said they could not play politics with certain persons and their style and their ideology. I was a young man following them, and they decided to form a party overnight called the Alliance for Democracy, the African Black Star. That was our symbol. And I went to Bayelsa as state chairman. And Femi, most people don't know. Apart from the Southwest, even as a young man, my performance as chairman of AD was far better than every other state, except the Southwest. Produced 3 assembly, produced a senator. This current Senate seat was AD. No. Produced a member of the House of Reps, which I later came to occupy twice, AD. But along the line, when our leader, the then Attorney General, Chief Bola Ige, took a decision to institute offshore-onshore dichotomy suits, I've told him, told most of our leaders that my continued membership was no longer tenable because I'm a man of conviction and honor. The reason I was at AD, when my state was PDP, and the governor at the time, Chief Alamesa, open-minded man, was always inviting me, and I didn't go. Because conviction. It's not now that every politics is about bread and butter. That young people in politics is about they do rubbish, abuse their leaders and fathers who they don't even know, and do all kinds of things because of money. It wasn't so. And the people I learned from, whether you are talking of Harold Apabiri of blessed memory, okay, or Pa Clark, or you are talking of Eric Asso, or Obi Lulu Briggs, and all those people who were in the NADECO system that brought me and guided me and so on involved, or even in the Southwest, my leaders, most of them gone. Baba Adesoye, Baba Adebaja, who died last year. Chief Alaye is a paramount ruler, is Royal Majesty. good man, is there doing the job, and now as a royal father. And the several others. Our current president was one of our leaders as governor of Lagos State. The AD was clear about our vision of a federal democratic Nigeria. The APC wrote that in their constitution. 2015, they took power, they did not, they threw it away. Even when a committee was set up and recommendations made, I disagree with that. Okay? I disagree with that. So for me, politics and my political service is based on certain convictions and principles. The abuse of the federal character principle in Nigeria, orchestrated by the APC. It's not just the current president. The late President Buhari started it. That's not the Nigeria that my leaders and fathers wanted to have. That's not the Nigeria they taught me to support.
But Senator, President Tinubu has said that the economy is out of the dark. And, you know, the trajectory is different right now. You know, the whole indices are showing that the lives of Nigerians are getting better. But you don't seem to agree with that. Is it that you don't see what they see?
Is it your indices or TVC indices?
No, I'm talking about the government of the day. What they are saying.
Now, let me tell you, the government is, you know, and I've been in this for some time. When you are in villa or government house, you are in a bubble.
You think so?
You are in a bubble. Nigerians out there don't think so. Nigerians out there don't know so. Nigerians out there disagree so. Okay? Now, when you are running the government, the difficulties they are managing, that's one thing. Whatever statistics, government statistics, whatever they are doing, whether it has resulted in the betterment of the common man, even you, who paid your way, drove your way here, whose wife goes to the market, who pays children's school fees and house rents, and so on and so forth. You know your experience. And that's the experience of them all. But you see, it's not just the economic issues. I'm concerned about fundamental principles and directions of a government or of a political party. I want respect for Nigeria's federalism. I want devolution of powers. The president is talking about state police. We in the AD fought for that for a long time. Okay? We're talking about restructuring. The president has not started it. They set up a committee, and like I said, if John Oyegun set up a committee as chairman and El Rufai chaired it, did a great job. I think so far, one of the best job any committee has done is what that committee did. But the APC jettisoned it. If they had done so, Femi, I would have had a basis for satisfying myself that, yes, these guys are doing well, I will support them.
All right.
But the fact that you have 30 governors, or governors and others we put there decamping to you, it's not enough to convince somebody like that.
It doesn't have to translate to electoral victory.
Oh, yes, it will not. Because
all right, then we need to go
the voters are the Nigerian people.
Indeed. All right, then. Thank you so much, Senator Henry Seriake Dixon. Thank you. It's been a very wonderful interview with you. And well, that's it, folks. On the program today, you can see